But getting back to it, you know that chosen lineage goes through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? And I go to Genesis 21, uh, and I read verse 12 to get right to the Egyptian, which he had born to Abraham mocking, right? So Hagar was the Egyptian handmaid unto Sarah, right? She had Ishmael, right? And he says, wherefore she said to Abram, cast out this bondwoman, which is Hagar, right? Because she was a bondwoman, right? Her son and her son, or the son of this bondwoman, shall not be heir. A heir is what? Someone who's set to receive something. With my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in the sight of Abraham because of his son. And Yahweh said to Abraham, let it be not grievous in the sight because of the lad, because of thy bondwoman. And all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called, right? So that chosen lineage, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are the chosen children, are the ones who, for the promise, who the ones who gonna be put back to that godlike state, right?
That's a good point, and that's on point because again, again, the nation of Israel, dealing with the nation of Israel, man. Like I said, that you said, it says through Isaac, right?
Isaac shall seed be called.
God. So again, man, no other nation. All right, the Most High is not dealing with no other nation. That's why, again, the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, right? Because the nation of Israel is where? Everywhere. So even amongst Ishmael, all right, even amongst these so-called Arabs and Asians, all right, that's why people get confused. Like you said, Elder Matthias, not to go too far out. He always go into that because it's always a scoffer or a mocker saying how the Gentiles can be saved, but not understanding the Israelites are the Gentiles that the Bible is speaking of, all right? Of course, you got the other nations which are Gentiles, but when the books are dealing with Gentiles, they're talking about Israelites, right?
You stuff on that. Psalms 147:19 said he showed his word to Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. That's for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise you, the Lord, man. So again, like you said, he hasn't dealt with any other nations. He doesn't make covenants with any other nations. He doesn't make promises with. He doesn't deal with. Right? He tells you that in the book of, was it 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, around the 50th verse, right? The other nations are spittle unto him. You know what I'm saying? It's like a drop that falls from a bucket, right? It also talks about that in, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Isaiah 40 or Isaiah 45, I can't remember which one. But it also talks about the same thing, how it says the nations before him are as nothing. So he doesn't deal with those nations. He doesn't deal with those types of things.
Okay, and also a quick precept on showing the point, the Gentiles, like talking about the Gentiles, right? John 7:35. When you see it, because you got to be in the spirit. How about trying to understand these things, and that's like a stumbling block into the wicked, to those Christians, things of that nature. And the Apostle Ron, I was talking about this, how that be their main point, how they try to talk about, everybody gonna be saved. They don't really understand, right? So John 7:35, right, and it reads, said, then said the Jews among themselves, whether will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the despair among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Right? So the first Gentile, what does that mean? That means other nations, right? So you're asking, like, will he go into the other nations to teach other nations? No. He's saying we go into the other nations to teach the Gentiles who are the Israelites, who are in the mindset of those other nations, right? They lost, they following them, right? The Greek, the Hellenists, right? In the Roman mindset, just like in today, right? Y'all in the mindset of America, of in Babylon, right? So now we got the brothers, and apostles and prophets, GMS, through the spirit of Habashah Shah, here prophesying right now to bring you back to the fold, because they ain't that mind, ain't that child state of mind. Kind of really quick.
Just proving that point first, because you know how they get with it. All right. Well, this is 1 Corinthians 12:2, right? It says, "You know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led." Right. So again, this is just to prove, just because it says Gentile doesn't necessarily talking about any other nation outside of Israel. No, it says you were Gentiles. A Gentile can be a title of a person. It can be a mind state, right? Like a frame of mind, right? You were Gentiles, meaning you can come out of that. But natural Gentiles, fleshly Gentiles, people who are of other nations, you are what you are, right? They like to say, well, you can become spiritually Israel. There's no such thing, right? The scriptures don't say that in any way, shape, or form, right? You can't become of another nation. You can't make your seed of another nation, right? It's always been blood. It's a bloodline. proven.
And another cut to that, basically like you said, these Christians, they try to use that as means the nations can be saved or the Gentiles. But another cut to that, us today, aren't we Gentiles? All right, we are those Gentiles. So many of us go by what? African American, Negro, Latino American, Mexican, Hispanic, Native American, right? So we are those Gentiles that the Bible speaks of, man. We not running around here. That's why we don't. When you do applications, we don't check out Hebrew Israelite. All right, you don't check out Judah, Levi, Benjamin. You check out African American or Native American.
And that goes to us being in that captivity, man. We in these captivities, so therefore, it ain't expedient for us to be in that right now. But that's why this thing is spiritual. That's why this thing is spiritual, man. And we do this thing through the spirit. How about y'all shout? Like, but saying you can't be trying to say, oh yeah, I'm spiritual. Nah, we understand through the spirit. How about y'all shout? That's our lineage. That's our heritage. That's who we truly are. We're not African American. We not trying to fake ourselves as African American. Or we gonna play it as that. So we know spiritually who we are. But in this captivity that we in, we gonna play it off. Once again, even how he was reading Genesis, right? The word subtle, right? We've been subtle, we've been crafty cunning, right? We gotta be wise as serpent, man. We gotta be smooth, right? We gotta be smooth. We gotta be smooth out here, man. We can't, because I think it's called like when you try to do things like that, they call you like a sovereign citizen. Like you basically have no rights, nothing like that, So we gotta play it off, man. We gotta play it off.
So Matthew 10 and 16, right? It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." And so again, you gotta understand how to deal. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand how to move in this world. You shouldn't bring unneeded attention to yourself like that. A while back, I remember the other night I did a video on a man. He had got pulled over. You know what I'm saying? By police, of course, right? And he started, trying to go back and forth with him, this and that, and then the third, and they escalated to a situation they didn't have to escalate to, right? So instead of just being wise and understanding, you still at a lower state, you still in captivity. You're not at that, you're not at the head yet, which you should be, right? But we're not there yet, right? Because we're still in captivity. We still are subject to the things of this world. We're still subject to Esau evil. We still have to go through these things, right? Our salvation is to come, right? It's not here yet, right? This isn't our rest. You can't treat it as such.
That's the point, as Brother Yasir was saying earlier, that's why Esau.
You deserve it. You deserve 2 times 4. I'm sorry, I'm not hurting you right now. Policy, bro. I can policy, bro.
That's why Esau they push themselves in that they try to put themselves in that godly manner, thinking that they're guys, right? Because when you go to Deuteronomy 32, right, and it talks about how the Most High was saying, lest your adversaries say they have done all this, right? Understanding that the Most High sent us through these captivities, the Most High done these things, right? Like the title of the hand, the Most High, his eyes everywhere. The Lord's eyes are everywhere, man. He control all, right? He control everything. But you got Esau thinking that they the ones who, they the ones, they thinking they God, man. They think they the ones who doing all. They think they can't be touched. They think that they live blissfully, right? Right. It's a quick precept that talk about it. I think it's Revelation, 18:7, right? It says, how much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. But she said to her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Right? So that goes into that they live in lavish down here, man. They live that lavish lifestyle down here, right? They in that power standpoint. They able to control everything, right? Going into the MOTV, so they control everything. They want to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They want to be. Right? You got those. Your butter law, how in those movies, certain people even talk about how certain people get pulled over and they get they look at them and like, can I see your ID? He have his ID, he read a name, he be like, oh my bad. Cause you got those people who like that. They're above the law, man. They want to be like God. They exalt themselves for anything that's called a God, right? That's what they try to do. That's how they try to push their narrative. You want me to do that?
Kind of please. Pick back up that one. Real quick, while we was on it, it had crossed my mind. How brothers were going to, like I said, being wise as serpent, harmless as a dove. and how these other nations, say, or we are spiritually Israel. But that's one way to be, Israelite, all right, by, I ain't gonna say not claiming to be an Israelite, but being wise as serpent, harmless as dove, not moving as, like, because you got a lot of camps that boast in being an Israelite. Not saying we shouldn't boast in it, but they walk around with their fringes, all right, every chance they get, like, they bucking up at the police, or they, we see the Emites walk by, we don't say shit to them, but you got these other camps, hey, come here, cracker, it's just certain shit like that. So it's like, we not, again, if you want to say spiritual Israel, that's one way you consider yourself being spiritually Israel, right? But let's pick back up at Genesis.
So Genesis 3 and verse 1, right? It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, the Most High has said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but in the fruit in the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. The Most High doth know that in that day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
It said, and they knew that they were naked, man. All right, so on a carnal sense. All right, as a child, we bring it up all the time. As a child growing up, you 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, up until you get about maybe 10 years old. All right, you really don't know what being naked is. All right, you walk around your mama naked, you walk around your brothers and sisters naked. You just run, you good. All right, but until you get to that certain age. So here it is, Adam and Eve. Now they realize that they naked, right? So when you naked, you try to what? You try to cover yourself up. You try to hide, right? You try to hide your good. Go ahead, finish.
Verse 8, it says, and they heard the voice of the Lord Yahweh walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden.
And who are those trees? Somebody get Mark 8 and 24. Who are these trees? Who these trees are? So you got Adam and Eve. They don't get the fruit. All right, they don't get off in the midst of sin. So here they are trying to hide amongst these trees. But these trees are men. All right, and same thing today. You got Israel. All right, amongst the trees. Amongst these other nations, amongst these other men. All right, amongst these different communities. All right, so our people are quick to claim that they Buddha, Jehovah, Christian. All right, or they LGBTQ, or they I'm a Mason, or I'm a 5%. All right, hiding amongst these trees. Go ahead.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 24. He says, he looked up, and I see men as trees walking. Right?
Go ahead.
Like the brother said, and I didn't even get off point of that, but even in that standpoint, man, being in that spiritual sense, right? He's not actually seeing those trees, right? He's seeing men, actual men, and when he's seeing these rest of men, he made me think of when Ed was talking about, Ed was talking about, how when the Most High, how people confuse the truth, right? Most High usually treat when you understand it, right? He's right. You can be a righteous tree, you can be an evil tree. You're gonna bring forth righteous fruit, or you're gonna bring forth, bad fruit. You know what I'm saying? So when you see these trees, but they want to try to hide upon these people. Right? They want to try to cover themselves up. Even when you think about it, what they said, lest you cover yourself with the garment, lest you walk naked. Right, so them doing that evil work, they're not in the right garments of Yahweh Shah, man. They in the evil ways, right? In the evil ways, the tree they ate of, Genesis 2 and 9, what they talk about, man. That's the tree they ate of. That's that good evil, man. That's that good and evil. What they learn, what is the evil knowledge, right? So now they walking naked, man.
God, even like you said, being trees and bearing fruit. All right, so that's just showing you that Adam and Eve ate from basically the wrong man. All right, they found a man who didn't bear good fruit, and they became like then and then. You know what I'm saying?
That circle, that man with that evil spirit. Now they got that evil spirit on them. You know, now they don't got those righteous moments. So now you walk around, you know, looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? All these people moving their righteous. You know what I'm saying? But now you look crazy. But now you trying to hide upon them, trying to cover yourself up, trying to seem like you the righteous. Nah, you know, don't worry about that.
To break it down even further, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was the spirit of that serpent? He saw evil. That was the spirit of the serpent. So that's the same thing that Jake do now. Right? They try to be like Esau even. They want to do the things that Esau even do. They want to celebrate the holidays Esau even celebrate. Right? They want to, you know, they want to be like them. They want to have the notoriety that they have. They want to be the symbol among them. Right? They want to, you know, they got a job and they want to suck up to them. You know, they want to be a symbol of Esau even because, you know, that's it tastes good. You know what I'm saying? That's who they worship.
I was looking for this precept which is going that we bring forth righteous fruit.
And that just to show you, you know, everything that tastes good, it ain't, you know, it ain't always good for you. About like candy, you know, about like, you know, sweets. You know? Much of a good thing.
You talking about when he talks about what good fruit from the tree?
Yeah.
You go to Matthew 12, or you can read Luke 6.
And see, that's another indicator of you know how the Lord knows who's who. Because again, the eyes of the Lord are everywhere. So you know you can't confuse an apple tree with a peach tree, or you can't confuse. You know what I'm saying? So it's no. Who's on who's who? The Lord is not. He's not out here trying. Okay, and where those Israelites go? From here, the Lord knows who's he is, right?
Quick piece of Luke 6 and start at verse 43, right? And it says, "For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither do a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." Right? So what's taking that meaning, right? You know, a righteous man gonna do what? Get out here and prophesy, do the work, do the righteous work, right? You're gonna teach the right things, so how about y'all shout 100% truth, right? But it says, "These do a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." You got these corrupt men, right? You got these corrupt men, you know, corrupt men who got out here teaching, or these hypocrites, right? Just like the wicked scribes and Pharisees, you got these false accounts. People, you know, how the brother you talk about how the Lord eyes above all kings, people who get out here on the highways about or be right in front of the camera, for lack of better words, right? And they try to go back and moving their own, right? You ain't gonna bring for it, you gonna bring for righteous fruit, right? You gonna bring for corrupt fruit, right? It says, "For every tree is known by his own fruit, for of thorns men do not gather figs, nor a bramble bush gather they grapes. A good man out of good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good," right? It says, "And an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For out the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh," right? A good man gonna bring forth good fruit, right? Good refuge gonna bring out, you know, the men being trees, right? You gonna bring forth good fruit, or you gonna bring forth bad fruit, right? You gonna bring people to the truth, or you gonna put them into that melting pot, man. Teaching all that Christianity, teaching all that evil works, things that nature.
It's the same, really the same precept in Matthew. This is Matthew 12 and 33. It says, "Either make the tree good and his fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruit." So just like you said, you know, you got false prophets, you got, you know, people out. So you, like, if you really think about it, right? So you got the other apostles of GMS. Right, the other apostles of heart, that's what? Good fruit. And we know that. Why? Because the men that follow after him is, you know, the fruit of his labor. He labored in the work of the Lord, Yahweh Shah, and, you know, the men that have eaten that fruit and have grown thereby, you know what I'm saying? They good trees, right? But you got, you know, IOIC, WFI, Sakari. I mean, you see the fruits of that. You see what's going on. You see the corruption in that. Why? Because those are bad trees. Bad trees do for bad fruit.
And you know, it's funny you say that. You know, we're dealing with fruit, because it's like, you know, I don't know if brothers have paid attention. Your grandma, your mama, they'll tell you, you got like a bag of oranges or a bag of apples, and you got one bad orange and one bad apple to make the rest of them bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I One brother sent that in the group chat. I think maybe you sent that in the group chat. But it was like when you put like a molded
Oh
fruit
yeah, I remember that. Yep.
beside a good one.
Strawberry.
Yeah, it's gonna turn it instant. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say when two walk together, it's something to be agreed.
Okay. They're showing you that even nature abides by the laws of the Most High.
Exactly.
You got Esau who go against the whole law.
You got the GMOs and all this, putting steroids inside the meats. Yeah, but again, we're subject to these things. The scriptures tell you, you shall eat your bread and fry. He said, wants to eat them. Something to that nature. I'm not quoting, paraphrasing. But again, Esau, even they want to change it. And again, that's that God complex that they want to have. You know what I'm saying? They want to be like the How They want to control everything. They want to create. That's why they got these these mutants and all this. They're trying to create life, create. You know what I'm saying? They want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like the Most High. That's where that's where you get that false doctrine about Lucifer and Satan. You know what I'm saying? No, Lucifer is really talking about Esau. You know what I'm saying? They want to be like the Most High. He said they would be as the Most High. Knocking them out.
Spirit really going to that. Really going into that, right?
And real quick, before you get on to that, like brother was saying, the Most High knocking Esau off. Like you said, Esau put himself in that God company. He said something that's God. And when you even in war, you go for the you don't go for the little guys, you go for the top guy. You get the general first. If you get him, you can take out his soldiers, right? You can make everybody subject to you. So basically what Most High doing. And remember what he said, he's a man of war. So he know all the tactics, man. He know how to, he did deep in the night. That's all.
Really, I started verse 11, right? He said, "Thy prompt is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy bowls, the worms spread under thee, and the worms covered thee," right? So that's the empire's gonna burn, man. These empires gonna fall, right? And it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?" Who's that Lucifer? Those light bearers, those hidden ones, right? If I go back up, right? Right? If I go back up, right? Verse 4 real fast. I go back now. It says, "Thou shalt take up this power against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor seized the golden city," right? So you got the king of Babylon represent the present, right? But it's really dealing with that shadow government, those ones behind the scenes, right? Those hidden ones, the illuminated ones, the light bearers, man. The ones who really, the ones who put the money behind it, right? And the president just a puppet, but the higher ups really run things. I got my notes right here: Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street. These things like Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, but these corporations worth billions of dollars. These corporations they really want to really run the earth, run everything. They go around and the president just sit in front of our face and just do what they say or say what they say, right? You know what I'm saying? Right, to go back down, right? Verse 12 says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations?" Right? He said, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mountain of the congregation and the sides of the mountain." He said, "I will ascend above the heights of the cloud, and I will be like the Most High." That's what they want to do, man. They want to control everything. They want to be in power of everything. You know what I'm saying? They want to control. They want to, even though they got us in captivity down here, we doing everything that they said. We got to go to work. We got to go do all these things. They want to know what we doing with our money. They want to know how we spending our money. They want to know how many kids we got in the house. Even though they know all these things, what's our kid's name? What our kid like? They want to know all that, right? That's why they gonna come out with that chip, man. The chip gonna be able to direct. They're gonna direct everything. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna be able to buy and sell without it. He gonna be able to do nothing without it, right? You then they gonna have to report to them for everything, right? But that's what they want to be. They want to be in that godlike standpoint. That's those light bearers, man. Those hidden ones, the ones you don't see, the ones behind the scenes for real, man. Nope. Oh, you want me to keep reading?
It's just further.
So I keep reading on. It says, verse 15 says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to the hell, to the sides of the pit." They gonna be brought down. Their kingdom gonna be thrown down. What I think it's Malachi. It says what they build up. Right? Why he bring that? 16 said they that see these shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth tremble and did shake the kingdom, right? How they make the earth tremble, man? Like brother said, I know that with all the wars, right? With all the wars, the bombs, things of that nature, what they doing, right? You know, what you got there.
This is Malachi 1, and really to get the whole point, I'll just read down to 4. Right? The point is in 4. Right? Verse 1, it says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Yet saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. So that's what was it, Isaiah 14 we were just talking about. You know what I'm saying? He gonna throw them down. You know what I'm saying? They gonna build, like if you go into Revelation, it talks about, you know what I'm saying, they'll reign for a certain period of time, and it'll be over with. And they never gonna come back into any type of rulership. They never like what was that? Assad had tried to say the Russians gonna rule for a time. No, you know what I'm saying? How can that be so? How can Yahweh Shah come, his leading angels, destroy this place, and then allow somebody else to take over? That doesn't make sense. You know, when Yahweh Shah come back, it's over. You know what I'm saying? Israel's going to be back on top. And, once again, it says they shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people whom the Lord hath indignation forever. And so Esau is the border of wickedness. That's how we know what the wicked is. That's Job. What was that? Job 9:24. I'm saying the hand is, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? This is Esau Edom we're talking about.
And real quick, that's just showing you that, basically, how they say in the world, you make a bed, you gotta lay in. So, same way how we have our punishment here, we're gonna have our kingdom here. Esau had his kingdom here, so he's gonna have his punishment here. He said also, so, just like having, like you said, being the pits of hell or whatever. Earth currently is a state of hell, all right. But also, you're gonna have the kingdom of heaven here, man, right? So it ain't no place in the sky where you go and see you feel me, just to cut that doctor real quick, that heaven and hell. There ain't no place in the sky. There ain't no place on the ground where even when you go for judgment, judgment plays out for the righteous and the wicked right here on earth.
This is gonna be it. Right? People don't understand that, because it's a lot of misconstrued breakdowns. People say, They got it cool around with this stuff, man. But what I'm saying, it's a lot of strongholds on these breakdowns, especially in hell. You know what I'm saying? But what I was talking about, it's really heavy. Because when we say, people think we're saying, only Israel is gonna be in heaven, which is not true. Everybody's gonna be in heaven. Who's gonna be in the kingdom of heaven? Who's gonna rule the kingdom of heaven? That's what the fish is. You know what I'm saying? Because how we gonna have Esau even a slave if only Israel gonna be in heaven? That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going to heaven.
Everybody in hell.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So everybody gonna be in heaven. It's just who's gonna be the rulers, who's gonna be the judges, who's gonna be the kings, the princes, the princesses. Who's gonna rule the kingdom of heaven? That's gonna be Israel.
And see, that's what it falls back on, man. Jake's so damn simple. It's a lot of Israelites the same way. Like niggas think this is a good thing. Niggas think this is they think it's a race thing. Like the other time I went to it. A lot of people they don't even know what race really means. It's not black or white. It's not African versus white people. You feel me? It's deeper than that, man. All right, it's a status thing. All right, why you think it's called the kingdom of heaven? All right, cause it's a kingship. All right.
Yeah, right here in my notes. I was trying to find in my notes to where one day I was watching the lesson, and he was talking about boxing, and Elder Pastor R was talking about how if I'm not mistaken, it was Russia, right? He was talking about how some of them are Israel, right? I forgot that.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Italians too.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah, I was trying to find my notes on that, right? In the process of finding, he was talking about, right? You know, just like hell is a condition, right? The grave, poverty, you know, destruction, right? You know, this is why this is the heaven, you know, or the kingdom for Esau, right? Because they in that rulership. You know what I'm saying? They condition of rulership, and that's what we're gonna get into our heaven, our kingdom, right? When we get back to our rulership standpoint, you know, we're gonna get back into our condition of rulership, power. You know, they're gonna be under our authority through the strength and power of Yahweh Shah. Just like how we down here in their kingdom, how we under their authority right now. You know, how they bruising the head right now, how we seem weak, low right now, right? But we really in spirit, you know, we really understand we're really powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like how I said, you know, you are. Have I not said you are God, right? You're God. We should die like men, you know. But once we get back into our spiritual body, our spiritual powers, right? Now they're gonna be under us, man. It's like they really under us now. It's been said the elders shall serve the younger, but you know, it's all part of the blueprint of Yahweh. Like Yahweh Shah. It's all part of the blueprint.
So it's all got to play out. I mean, it's prophesied. You know what I'm saying? He that lead them into captivity shall go into captivity. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Live by the sword. You should like that. It's prophesied. He doesn't happen like that, but it just has to play out. It's the Most High move. You know what I'm saying? He's allowing people to work out their lives. Right? Everybody has to finish their life.
Really, most, man, I was watching the lesson, you know, I think it's Genesis 27, right? We talk about Esau blessing, right? So, you know, and they got their blessing, right? When you understand it through the spirit, right? And it really, like, it made me smile because you really understand, like, cause it's playing into the holy, but it's nothing but into the wicked, right? Yahweh Shah, Adam, Solomon, Isaac, same spirit. Right, so you know, and it's going down through that lineage, right? ISLC because so it's going down through that lineage, right? So who gave Esau? Who gave him that? Who gave him that blessing, right? The same one who gave that blessing gonna do what? He's gonna come back and take it from him, right? But you know, the simple mind, they wouldn't be able to understand that. They wouldn't be able to, you know, to receive that. How Esau had so-called white men out here just slaying and a lot of people throwing people in captivity. Look at all the lands they take. Look at all the things they do, right? They men of war, right? They love destruction. They love to destroy people's place, right? They love other people to live in poverty. And they live with the riches and the, you know, and the glory and all that, right? But you know, Yahweh Shah gonna come out. What they gonna go from? They're going from riches to rags, man. They're gonna be thrown down, right? They're gonna be in a place like that. Obadiah 1. Obadiah 1, and I started verse 15, right? It said, For the day of the Lord is near, the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all heathen. That thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee, right? That thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. What have they done? Right? All things they have done, right, is going to be done unto them, right? And it says, Thy reward shall return upon thy own head, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, right? Who is that, right? So he said, that holy mountain is who? You know, Israel, right? So he says, so shalt thou heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, they shall swallow down, and they shall be as they had not been, right? So when you, I think it's Revelation where it's talking about, you know, they gonna fill their cup double. They gonna have to drink. They ain't gonna be able to, you know, how I used to metaphor how they, you know, my grandma used to give us the last pencil bills both. They used to pray like I don't swallow it, and I go spit it out. He said, well, ain't gonna be to spit it out. They gonna have to drink double. They gonna have to swallow it all. That indignation, man, that righteous judgment is coming upon them, right? They gonna have to get destroyed. But the point being, right?